Hi there. Welcome back to Morning Joe with Mo. It's not morning today, it's the bright and sunny afternoon, and I'm enjoying some ice cream out here on my patio in the backyard. I actually made this ice cream myself. Yeah, and so can you. Today's episode is all about dairy products and how do we go from milk out of a cow into all these different wonderful things in the refrigerated aisle. So today I'm going to teach you how to make ice cream in a bag. You can do this today at home. Stuff in your fridge. Want to know? Here we go. We're going to do ice cream in a bag today. So I'm going to demonstrate for you how to go about the process. I'm doing it outside because the actual freezing part results in a lot of excess water. And so if you do it inside, I highly recommend doing it over a large sink or even a bathtub, just because as you're shaking these bags, you'll see it kind of creates a mess. So if you can go outside, awesome. And I'm also going to be putting on gloves for that part because it gets really cold. Obviously we're making ice cream. And I'm also going to use an old bath towel just to protect my hands from getting wet and cold, because this is cold. So if you've been shopping online, or maybe your family even has one, they do make ice cream makers that you can buy that hook up to an electrical port and you can keep in your kitchen. We're gonna go very old fashioned, very cheap. We're doing ice cream in Ziploc bags, okay? And this recipe really is just for a single serving. So if you're gonna do this with your families and you want to do more, just double, triple, etc. the recipe as needed. So first off, we have a couple different sizes of bags. We have quart size bags, which your actual ice cream is gonna be made in this. But in order for the freezing process to happen, we need ice. And so we need lots of it. So we're gonna be using a gallon size bag as well. So you need quart size and gallon size. All right, so let's get started. The very first step is in our quart size bag that our actual ice cream is gonna be made in. So obviously you wanna wash your hands before you do this, because whatever you touch is going in the food you're gonna be eating. We're gonna add sugar, vanilla, and then half and half. And my first question would be, why are we using half and half? It's ice cream, it's a dairy product. Milk comes out of the cow, but milk, the raw milk, can be treated and made into lots of different products. So why are we using half and half instead of, say, whole milk, or instead of whipping cream? Like, why is this the ingredient? So I want you to think about that today as we go through this experiment. So half and half. For a single serving, we're going to do half a cup. So I've measured out half a cup. We're going to pour that in the bag. We are also going to do a tablespoon of just white plain old sugar that you'd use for cooking. And then vanilla, we need a 1/4 teaspoon. So this ice cream is a very plain vanilla. In the end, you can add chocolate sauce, strawberry sauce, sprinkles, whipped cream, whatever floats your boat. So in our ice cream bag, we have half and half sugar and vanilla. That is it. We're going to try to get out as much of the excess air as possible and then seal the bag. Okay. For extra protection today, just because this lab can get messy, they've recommended, and I also do, to double bag your ice cream material. So I'm just gonna stick that bag inside of another quart size bag, do the same thing, try to get rid of as much of that extra air as possible, and seal her up. All right, so this is the beginnings of our ice cream. Stay tuned, it's gonna look better than this. All right, so now we need to create the freezing environment for the ice cream, okay? So we're gonna take a gallon size bag, and I'm gonna do two things. I need ice, and they've recommended basically to fill this bag up 3/4 full. The recipe calls for 5 or 6 cups of ice. Really, you just need the majority of this full, but you do need room to put this bag and also have some room for movement. So about 3/4 would be plenty. All right, here's my ice. It's about halfway. We'll see how it goes. And then we want to make this actually extra cold, even more cold than ice. This alone would make this ice cream probably half an hour to an hour. It's going to start to melt. We want to speed up that process. This ice cream making process should only take us 5 to 10 minutes max. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be adding a half a cup of salt. So my second question for you today is, why does adding salt to ice make it even more cold than it already is on its own? All right, so why does salt added to ice make this environment extra cold, okay? And I've added coarse rock salt. There's actually ice cream salt you can buy in the grocery store. If you don't have that, you don't want it, just the heaviest grain, the thickest grain salt possible. If all you have is regular old, the fine salt, you probably just want to up the ante and maybe do 3/4 to a full cup of salt so you have more. All right, all we have left to do is stick our ice cream beginnings into our freezing bag of the ice and the salt. This time I'm not gonna get rid of the extra airspace. I want that for movement. I'm gonna seal it, and this is where gloves and the towel and being outside is gonna come in handy. Basically, I'm gonna shake the living crap out of this for 5 to 10 minutes. And how do you know you're done? The inner bag, you can feel through this. Ice cream should feel and look like ice cream, right? So in 5 minutes, if it's still runny and liquidy, I'm gonna continue to go. I want the texture of that ice cream to be somewhere between like a soft serve you'd get at Dairy Queen and hard ice cream you'd buy out of a carton. We're never gonna get it that hard this way, but we should be kind of approaching that mentality, okay? And it does not hurt to open the bag if you need to also feel inside. You can continue to put it back in and shake her around as much as needed. However, just going like this is not gonna do anything. We need that ice cream mixture moving around, especially because we didn't really blend the half and half, the vanilla and the sugar together. This process is gonna do that too. So you really need to be all around doing that, okay? All right, I'm gonna time lapse this for you, so I'll be back in a minute. Okay, I forgot how much of a workout that is, and even through the gloves and the towel, my hands are freezing. Okay, so before we talk about the ice cream, look how much of that ice has melted, and remember I added more. So this might be a helpful hint to question number 2 about adding the salt. If it's so much colder, why is it so melty? That's my question. Okay, now, this has our ice cream in it, and I could have gone a little bit longer. I probably needed to add a little bit more salt to get a harder texture, but I want to be very careful because this has the goods in it and this is touching a whole bunch of salt water. So I'm going to get rid of that, and just for good measure, because I've done this before where it's been kind of nasty, I'm going to rinse this guy off with water. Nobody wants salted ice cream unless it's like salted caramel, which we did not do. All right. And then all you're gonna do is, it's kind of like when you get a frosting bag together for a cake, if you're going old school. You're just gonna take your scissors and cut the corner and then squeeze it out to enjoy. And from there, it's vanilla ice cream. If you wanna add toppings and make it sundae, that's all up to you to get creative. But we have made, officially, some ice cream. All right, now it's your turn. Go ahead and try it. I've included a link to the full set of instructions and the recipe on Google Classroom for you. If you do this lab, I would love to see pictures. Go ahead and post them in the comments below. See you next week.